Morning, Cyber Warriors. Going to do a little bit more with arrays today. We're going to do a real world scenario where you're going to be building an array based off of user information, how to do that, and how to even whitelist things. So let's get right to it. So we're going to do a little bit more with arrays, something that is a bit more practical for what we do in regular operations. And that's going to be working with users and how to um, whitelist users, for example. You will often have to do a whole bunch of different operations with users, like changing their password minimum age and maximum age. I mean, this is something that you want to make sure is being done. But or even changing the passwords on different user accounts, but you don't want to generally change your own password. And you may have one or other two accounts that you don't want to mess with. Root, for example, is one. Within our organization, with the Cochise County Cyber Patriot, we have a Cochise Cyber account that we don't want to mess with because it handles our scoring engine. So that's definitely an account we want to exclude. So we'll walk through a number of ways to do that, to include creating an array by actually calling information from from a file as opposed to manually entering one. All right. So we're going to first define our all users. Right? So all users equal $. So the $sign in parentheses means that we're going to be executing a command, and we want the results of that command to be the content we have for this, either a variable or an array. In this case, it'll be an array because of the way the information is shaped. Okay, so we're going to get int passwd. Why did that not work right? Get int passwd. This may fail and we may have to start the video again. We'll see. Hawk. Remember, passwd has fields that are separated by colons. And we're going to search for x colon 1 3 characters, which are all going to be numbers, followed by another colon, and we're going to end our search string. And we're going to tell it to print the first field, which is just the usernames. Single quote and in parentheses, and boom, that should be correct. So let's test it. Echo all users. Huh, that didn't work. So what did we do wrong in here? Oh, I see what it is. I didn't capitalize that. There we go. That's the ticket. So now we have a bunch of different users in here to include ourself, which we want to exclude, and we want to also exclude the Cochise Cyber account. So how do we exclude ourself? Fairly easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off a new whitelist, and we're going to do it with another command. Whitelist. We're going to do who am I as the command. All right. So echo whitelist. Even though we know there's only one thing in there, we still always check. Boom, grew. And we know it was grew because we can see it was grew right here. That's the whoami command. But you can do this as part of a script, and it'll be consistent even if you're changing who you are whenever you log in and you're running it. So we want to append. So how do we append? Whitelist plus equal, and then we can Coach's cyber, right? That'll work, right? No, it won't work. What did I do wrong? The first thing I did wrong is I didn't put it in parentheses. So let's actually go back and fix this by resetting it. And then we're going to put this back in parentheses. And check it. Boom. That's much better. Okay, so we have two different arrays now, right? And we can check both arrays at the same time by echoing them to the screen. So we have all users. We're going to do a space, and we're going to do whitelist. Boom. We have all of the stuff there. And we see that we have a couple that are in common, right? So we have Coach's Cyber and Grew, and then we have Grew and Coach's Cyber. So what we want to do is create a third one that doesn't include Grew and Coach's Cyber. And we're going to do this we're going to step through the whole thing. So what was one of the ways that we can view the information on individual lines? Because that's what we're going to have to do to separate everything out. So we take this and we're going to run transform, right? So single quote, space, single quote, and we're going to give it a new line character to work with, and that's what everything looks like now. Okay? So there's also a great function called uniq. Actually, let me clear the screen to make it a little easier here. Now, there is a command, uniq, and the -u means don't print any lines that are the same. Okay, so this should remove the extra Grew, it should remove Grew and Coach's Cyber, right? Except that it didn't. And there's a really strange requirement that uniq has where it only will uniq and exclude those lines if they're consecutive. So how do we make sure that Grew and Coach's Cyber are consecutive on the list as it's going through? Well, we insert sort. And let me just show you sort first. And we see that we now have Coach's Cyber and Grew are in there and they're repeating. Let's clear the screen. And then we're going to grab our uniq-u. And we see that Coach's Cyber and Grew are no longer in the user list, which is what we need in order to create our valid users array. So what we need to do now is actually step through this as part of a for loop to add each element into a new array. So we're going to do for u for user, because why not, in, and actually let's go back into here. So for u in, and this is that right there. So we have our command that we did before. We're encapsulating it in parentheses. We're starting it off with the $sign so that we make sure that it knows it is a command being run. And we're going to do, just to make it a little easier to read, hit enter. So this is how you can do a for loop on multiple lines. And we're going to valid users plus equal, and then in parentheses, our little u, and then going to do that, and then done, and enter, and it should have done everything. So if we echo it to the screen, just the variable itself, or as a variable, echo valid users, only one. Excellent. So if we go back here, we put it in the squiggly brace, and that, we have it all. So now we have an array which has all of our different users in there that are not whitelisted users. So now we can either enable, disable, we can change elements of those using a for loop. Simple, easy, and there you have it. So I just thought of something that could be useful, and that is adding an extra line into that for loop. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out the array, and I'm going to recreate the array using the for loop, but I'm going to add another line in there so that we can actually see it working as it progresses. It'll be really fast, but it's still something that'd be pretty cool, so you see progress as it's going through. So let's valid users, always spelled correctly. I'm going to just clear that out, and just to test it, go valid users. Suddenly not able to type. Okay, so go up. All right. Okay, so we're going to add another line. And you saw how it put all of that stuff into one line, even though we had multiple lines as we created it. That's just how it interprets that. As long as you have that semicolon, it expects more to occur. So what we're going to do is, so in the loop we have, right? So in our loop we have it go through, it's echoing the stuff, it's transforming those spaces into new lines, sorting, uniquing, and then we're adding the little variable in there. So what I want to do at this point is to echo our array. Valid users, boom, done, and actually done. So at this point, what it's going to do is we should watch it just build out that very rapidly, that array. Boom. Figured that'd be pretty cool. So there you see it's going through iterative. Each time it's adding a new one. So one of the little cool things you could do, just kind of make sure that things are working the way that you want them to work. Alrighty then, Cyber Warriors. What did we go through? We built an array based off of users in the passwd file. We built a whitelist of users that we don't want to make changes to through a programmatic or automatic means. and then we showed how to whitelist those, and that little as it spread everything out. That was kind of cool to see all of that in action. I, as per always, I hope you learned something. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.